The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning or good evening if you're in the South Pacific area, or if you happen to be in the United States, good night. It's quite late. This is David Reynolds. I'm your host and your technical assistance here for Enabling Positive Experience World FM Day 2018. Today's presentation, Crosspoint between FM technology and sustainability. And our main presenter is Goran Milanov. He's Vice Chair of Euro FM. IFMA brings World FM Day to you from various councils and communities. You'll see on the left the FM Consultants Council, your host tonight, is bolded. The councils are in black and gray, and the communities, IFMA communities, are in blue. At FMCC, our vision is to be a go-to resource for the facility management profession in general. We see ourselves that way, and we see our mission as making sure to be the representative, to be the point of knowledge, of sharing to FM consultants and FMs far and wide. We could help FM Journal, Ask the Expert, commonly available to you. Engage, of course, IFMA Engage. Locating a speaker and get in touch. Our website, fmcc.ifma.org, online educational resources there. Our sponsors are ISS and also Art Crow at Opacet Security Consulting. A little bit of breaking news here on Technical Committee 267 for ISO 41000 series for FM. ISO 41001 is recently published. This is sort of the collection point, the guidance to use the rest of the 41000 series. This is a lot of work and big news. For facility managers, I would urge you to look into how this group is doing. Laverne Deckert, her address appears at the bottom, is the contact, and you can see that there's a home in the ISO.org committee for Technical Committee 267. So let's go. We'll hold the Q&A till the end of the presentation. However, type them in at any time and we'll bring them up then. This PowerPoint will be recorded and webinars will be available for all of World FM Day. Thanks for being our guest. I'm going to introduce our moderator now, Val Moraes, who's my senior, past president of FMCC, and a colleague now for a number of years, it seems like. And he'll introduce our speaker. Val is from Auckland, New Zealand, and joins us in the early evening his time. Val, go ahead. I'll advance the slides whenever you'd like.
Yeah, thank you, David. Greetings, everybody, and a very happy World FM Day, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers and listeners across the globe who may have tuned in for this webinar hosted by IFMA's FM Consultants Council, also known as FMCC. World FM Day was established, as you know, a few years ago so that all facilities professionals across the world would have the opportunity to celebrate, recognize achievements, and most of all, to spread the message of FM as a profession. The topic of our topic of this webinar today on World FM Day is Crosspoint between FM technology and sustainability. And our speaker presenting this topic is none other than Goran Milanov, who is a civil engineer with 15 years of experience in design, construction, and FM-related projects. Being on a management position with Nemetschek Germany, Nemetschek Bulgaria, Centermine UK, he actively works for positioning FM as a process-oriented discipline, focused on the sustainable business results of the organization. Goran is one of the founders and former chairman of the Bulgarian Facility Management Association. Since November 2014, he is the vice chairman of Euro FM. The topic, Crosspoint between FM technology and sustainability. Over to you, Goran.
Thank you, Val, and thank you, David. From my side here from Sofia, Bulgaria, again a happy World FM Day, and congratulations all the colleagues with this day and this celebration. As Val mentioned, we're celebrating this day for a couple of years from now on, and I can say that in the beginning, looks like that we have just the World FM Day as a reason to celebrate, as a day where we are gathering and talking about our achievements and what have been done during the last year. But also, as David mentioned about the ISO standards, today we don't have just the World FM Day. We have our standards, we have our practices, we have already a history behind. So for sure, I can say that we are really an industry today, and using our World FM Day, we should, let's say, consider and we should rethink what kind of an industry we want to be, and how we want to position what we are doing in our day-to-day business. So the presentation, which or the topic, I wouldn't say exactly that's a presentation. It's more or less like a discussions and previous experience about how in FM we are using technology and how technology can help to the sustainability of not only about our business but also sustainability of the organizations as a whole. Because I think that at the end of the day, our main task in our day-to-day business is really to add on value and to support the sustainability of the core business of the main organization that we are serving. It doesn't matter if we are like a internal FM service provider or we are an external company who is providing services to the end customer. So looking at the cross point between FM technology and sustainability, I'm not quite sure, but I would like to to see where is and I would like to talk about where is really the cross point between the three, between the facilities management, between the technologies, and especially the IT technology, information technology, which today is quite important for our day-to-day work, and how these two together can really support the sustainability of the core organization. But of course, talking about industry, we have to say that we are a service industry. That's for sure. We are a service industry, and we have to think what kind of a service we are trying and we are aiming to provide to our end customers. And the definition of the services, it's already the definition what is in the scope of FM. It's already defined in a couple of standards and methodologies that we have. So depending of the organization, of the core business of organization, we can clearly choose which of the services which are under the facilities management umbrella can be easily applicable for the companies that we are serving, and which can get out of the scope of what we can provide to them in a different reasons, by security, by sensitive volume of information, or something else. But we we have already our standards, and we know, and we are ready to, let's say, to define and to see what is in the scope in our services. So in the first place, talking about these cross points, we have to rethink and to see what is in the FM scope, let's say, of our doings. Then we have to think what kind of a technologies do we need in order to do our job better, and this all with the respect, and with this all with the let's say with the clear understanding what a service in what quantity and what quality we need to provide to our end customers. I'm just wondering if I'm able to change the slides
Oh, I think I can. There you go.
Oh, okay, thank you, Val. So since many years, we have information technologies available in our pockets. Let's say, if we go back, let's say 15, 20 years ago, we have very heavy computers, very expensive software, so it was not that easy to use information technologies. Nevertheless, regardless of this fact, always since the very beginning of I would say a modern FM, we are engaged with technologies. And it looks like that, again, looking back, during the past years, we are not that, let's say, keen to use these technologies. I mean, we know that they are there, but somehow it was not something which is very fancy to us, because we know what we have to do, we know how we have to do, and when it comes to new technology, we're saying, oh, no, now I have to implement a new software or a new hardware. Oh, I would like to work in the old-fashioned day. But let's say that we have a good excuse for this, because the technologies those days were really heavy, and it was really not easy to implement. But today, the technology, it's something that really can enable us to do more things, to provide more services, to define different scope and volume of services that can be provided to the end customer that we are serving. So it looks like that today the facilities manager is starting to look more and more at technology really as a supportive tool, because in our work, when we're serving a lot of buildings, when we're serving a lot of people, it's more and more today about well-being instead of let's say correct technical operation of a building. Most of the cases today, people are starting to measure our success, to measure our work based on how they feel in the buildings that they are living or working, instead of looking at the what is the time of not functioning of the main chiller of the building, or any other technology which is inside the building. So the let's say the KPIs that we have are moving more and more to the soft side rather than to the pure technical and pure, let's say, hardware side. So this change, this shift of the focus of our work, it requires also new technologies that we need to have. Also in this, I would add the changing economy, because if we are looking on the let's say global trends, and if we let's pick up, let's say, four of the global trends that we have to look, like, I don't know, globalization, like changing economy, like social development, like shared economies and stuff like that. For sure, one of these trends will be the IT. And what I can say that somehow IT is a little bit ahead of us. I mean, the IT industry, which is also a service industry in the same way as we are a service industry, are going fast ahead with what they invent. So in many cases, the guys from the sorry, guys from the IT industry, they invent something. They invent a piece of software or a piece of hardware, and they're going to the core business very happy and very fascinated, saying, "Hey, boss, you see, we developed this. This can help in your business for optimizing that process, or doing something something else, or gathering more information." So they're in a proactive way to promote what they have. So we are, in a way, one of their customers, because again, our day-to-day work is depending from what an IT industry can produce. And it's about the level of usability, how we are using the IT technologies that are on our possession. I would give an example if you want. I mean, I'm pretty sure that all of us, we are having in our pockets kind of a smartphone. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of a brand, with what kind of a parameters and what kind of a characteristics, but we have a smartphone in our pockets. And what I can say that most of us are using the smartphone for talking and for chatting, or looking for some information, and that's it. And I would say that these tools are in some cases they are even more powerful from our laptops or from our desktops, and they have enough power to serve us as a tool to organize our day-to-day work, to manage it, to control it, to monitor it, and to do it really from our pocket. And I would use another example with companies that are trying to use a social media to support their organizational work. And in Europe, there are many cases where if you are a big real estate fund with a lot of subcontractors and a lot of real estate to manage, you have to have an army of people that will do the supervision of your subcontractors. So why should I engage and load the price of my service to my end customer by hiring people that will travel across Europe or across the globe just to monitor and control what our subcontractors are doing? So I can easily use a social media platform, and I would ask people to register there, and with a simple task, with a small payment, I would say that. For instance, okay, today I know that my subcontractor has to go and has to cut the grass or clean the facade of the building, let's say in Munich. So I would just open a task. I want pictures from my building in Munich, and I'm paying, let's say, $10 or 10 euros. So the people that are registered in my system, they will go there, they will just make the picture, they just make the snapshot, and I will get a real one. I will get a reliable information, and I will know what exactly my subcontractors are doing. So the technology, in a way that we have to use it, I think that we have to go a little bit further, and we have to go a little bit ahead in order to use this technology in a full scope in order to increase the sustainability of the core building of the core business. I think that in a way there is a area of improvement where we have to be more proactive, and we have to be really in a position to learn more and implement more of these tools and solutions in our day-to-day business. Val, can you please change the next slide?
Be just a second.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. I know that it's not anymore the case, but there are still some end customers, some companies that are requiring our service that are still considering us as a low-cost business and a low-cost service. If we allow these people to consider us as something that it's only based on price, for sure we will be not able to do any of these that we are talking until now. We were not able to acquire any technologies. We'll be not able to add value and to support the sustainability of the core business if the core business is considering us as a low cost. So in that case, I would like to say that in many cases, and especially in Europe and United States and across the globe, by introducing the real power and the real let's say value that we can bring to the core business, a lot of the businesses really understand that the productivity and the results that they're achieving in a lot of cases, they're depending of a good and professional facilities management. It doesn't matter if this is a hospital, it doesn't matter if this is a factory or an office building or something else, but the low quality and respectively the low cost of the services that can be there is something that will go to the low cost of the core business. And if the core business doesn't want to be a low cost one, or doesn't matter if they call it low cost, but getting a low cost services, which means low quality services, we have to go away of this model, of this perception in general. So I put this slide because there is nothing new here, but really I think that we have to spend also efforts of promoting FM not as a low-cost discipline, and really explaining what's the add-on value. And the add-on value again wouldn't be, I know that in different countries across the world is a different perception and different way how we are measuring FM. but we shouldn't go to the core business. We shouldn't go to the boardroom with a message that we can fix equipment, or we can fix hardware within the building for, let's say, 5 minutes. No, we should go to the board. We should go to the C-level people, and we should just say, hey, the biggest value that we can give, and the service that we can provide, is that the people that are, let's say, working in this building, in this office building, we can rise their level of satisfaction with that and that degree. Or just to say, the people that are living in this in this building, we can make them happy. We can make them happy, so they can do more for the core business, and they can be more proactive and more creative. I would give another example, a small example. It was a Chinese company which was dealing with a European company for many months. Finally, there was a final meeting for, let's say, getting a discussion and final decision about the dealings that they're doing. So the Chinese delegation was coming to Europe. That company that was receiving the Chinese delegation, and they really want to sign this contract because it was quite a big one, they have a receptionist which is outsourced to an FM company. And the receptionist, without anybody to give her a task or appoint her this as a duty, this lady actually goes in internet, let's say, and they look for specific ways and cultural differences between the European way of doing business and Chinese way of doing business. And let's say a couple of days before the Chinese delegation arrived in that company, he sent a simple mail. Dear colleagues, I would suggest a couple of things to do when the Chinese delegation is in our premises. Let's say first, let's rename the meeting room that will be the meetings with to be a number 8, because in China 8 is a lucky number. Please, ladies, don't wear high heels because it's a sign of aggression for the Chinese. So couple of points like this, which, I mean, are far away from the very core of the dealing and the concrete business purpose. But that way of knowing the core business shows that the value of our services is not on a low cost. So again, what I can say that we have to fight with this, and we have to avoid the understanding that facilities management is a low-cost discipline. Val, could you change the slide, please?
Yeah.
Okay, and we have a lot of methodologies. We have a lot of instruments. We have standards. We touch the topic with standards. So based on all these tools that we have, I think that it's end of time to combine this tool and these tools that we are under our possession, and start really using the tools in a way how we can do more for our core business and for our end customers. So I wouldn't go in that discussion in defining what is sustainability, but for sure using a modern FM plus modern technologies can give the way and gives the opportunity the core businesses really to be sustainable, to be more competitive, to be more efficient, and to be more successful. And the other thing what I can say is that we as a facilities managers, we shouldn't be let's say silent, and we shouldn't be shy. We have to learn not only how the FM is developed, we have to learn not only how IT, the informational technologies are developing, and what are the challenges in front of them, and what are the new technologies, but I would say that we as facilities managers, and we as the supporters of the core business, we should learn how actually the core business is developing. What is the changes and the challenges in front of the core business that we are serving? I mean, if this is a car industry or it's a car manufacturing company, for sure we have to know what is the future of the car industry in general. Cars without drivers, or drones or whatever, but we have to aware, and we have to look for that information, because only knowing the core business we can be really of help of the people that are paying our salaries. So I would say here it's FM plus IT, but I would say here another plus knowing and knowledge about core business will give the sustainability and will bring actually us in a position where we have to be. I wouldn't say that where we belong to be, but I can say that where we have to be in order really to reveal the potential that we have. So the Crosspoints, I would say, of all the supportive tools that we need and that we have to have, and the main place, this informational technology, it's actually knowledge about our abilities, knowledge about our services, knowledge about the IT industry and the technology in general, in combination with knowing the core business of the organization, will give us the option to adapt our services in that way that really the end customer would say, hey guys, I mean, FM is great. Today, in many cases, I would say that we are considering, again, as a, I wouldn't say not facilities management, I would say a maintenance business. And if we stay with this understanding that we are maintenance business, I think that we don't have a lot of future. Really, we have to embrace all the tools that we have in our hands. And in the first place, information technologies, which can give us a lot of opportunities to do more, to adapt easily what we are doing to the changing requirements and the changing environment that we're working, because I'm sure that you're seeing the rest of the business and the other businesses, they're changing rapidly. They're really changing rapidly, and it's in our hands and in our minds that we have to change this, and we have to follow this change in order to adapt our services to what we have to do. Again, if we are asking people from the IT industry, I would say that there were a lot of conferences and a lot of events where we get kind of I wouldn't say exactly a criticism, but we get messages that we are not very active there. And I think that one of, especially in Europe, I would say that one of these areas is BIM, it's Building Information Model, where very actively it's used by architects. Okay, I would agree that some of the vendors of the CID software are using the BIM for a marketing tool, but doesn't matter. I mean, for me, this is a good thing that it's spreading the word. Then the construction companies, the main contractors, are also okay of and even willing to use BIM as a main methodology for managing their business from international, informational technology point of view. And looks like that the facilities manager is not very active there. And this is a logical, let's say, a logical chain. When we have designed, when we have built, and then when we have managed. It's a logical chain that each one of these parts. I mean, the designers, they're doing everything in their informational environment. So we have intelligent data there. The contractors, the builders, also they're using information technologies. And why we, as a people that are actually managing and supporting these buildings, why we are not willing to use all this information which is created during the first two stages of the construction of the building, of the life cycle of the building. Sorry. So what I'm saying that we have to be more active, and in the first place, I mean, the easiest tool and the easiest technology that we can use in order to enhance and to support our core business, it's really the information technology. We used to use information technologies, and we really have to look a little bit more further. What's the future of the core business? What's the future of information technologies? And then to adapt our services in order to get the sustainability. And Val, I think that it was my last slide. So
Sure.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second, be right there. There we go.
Thank you. So even last week I was in Istanbul in Turkey, So they have already a formal FM association, and there's a 15 founding members, 15 company there, which are actually having a total in total 48,000 employees, which is quite a size for a new association, for a new founded association. But we were discussing them, and we were talking that again, we shouldn't stay passive. We shouldn't stay and wait the CEO or the person in the company who is responsible for FM to give us something, or to give us an order, or to say something to us that can we do this or can we do that. We have to be a business partner, and we have to be a partner, and this partnership should be not just for a moment. It should be developing, it should be evolving during the years and during our engagement with a company. I wouldn't go in that direction to say what are the benefits of this for us, but for the end customer, for the people that are receiving our service, it's of a great value to have a business partner who knows all the facilities, all the buildings, who knows actually how and what we can implement in order to increase the wellness of the people that are in those buildings. So the discussion in Istanbul was how we should call the new profession. I mean, there was a person who was asking, yeah, but before we have a different names. We have a corporate real estate manager, we have a real estate portfolio manager, asset manager. I think that now we are evidencing a moment of our developments that our end customer, our employer, he is not anymore very interested how we call ourselves. He's interested in order to have one service which is about professional and good performance of the building, and increasing the well-being and the satisfaction of the people that are inside this building. And I think that they will start not caring how exactly we will call our profession. It will be a facilities management, it will be something else. So I think that being a partner and using the technologies as the right tool will give the opportunities to us to support very heavily the sustainability of the core business. And thank you for that. I hope that I get within the minutes that I have, and I think that it's more about mind change rather than a technological change. Technology is already here. We just have to change our minds, and we have to start thinking in a more proactive, in a more intense way. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening to me. And I'm available for questions and discussions, of course.
Well, I have one, but I don't have any on the board at this point, but I do have one myself, and I'm not even sure how much time you used. I got so engrossed in listening to what you're saying. From the executive point of view, from the CEO, the C-suite point of view, even though sustainability and social benefit are important to the reputation, still it comes down to money. How do we demonstrate, given IT and given our vision of life cycle of a facility, of value to its occupants, our stakeholders basically, how do we go about taking that to the C-suite?
It's a good question, and I would say that in this world there will be companies that will looking only for the low cost and low quality services, and also there will be companies that will look for development, and they will look for add-on value of the services. They will look for quality rather than quantity. I think that in the first place, because still, I know that we are big as an industry, but still as a recognition, we are a little bit small, let's say. So I wouldn't go to fight with those companies which are in this low quality and low cost level, but I will choose my battles, and I will go to the companies that can really understand. When you go there and when we say, okay, by doing this, you will increase the satisfaction of your employees. By doing that, you will cut down the time for the malfunctioning of your equipment. Cutting half of the office spaces and allowing the people to work from their homes, from the park, from whatever they want, will actually cut your cost for rental cost, but also will increase actually the satisfaction of your employees. So looking for that kind of a messages, I think will somehow give us more recognized position in the boardroom. And for sure, I would say that company from company, it's quite different. I mean, there is a unified approach, but only like methodology, and we have to tune this to each of our customers that we are going. And this is again the point: knowing their core business. I know that it's more costly. I mean, like in time and resources, when you're starting sales negotiations with a company, to really to investigate and to see what are their core businesses, where there are problems, where they're suffering from, and then to go and name directly the problems. I know that it's time and money consuming in order to do that kind of a, I think that they call it consulting sensitive sales. But I would say that that's the right way and that's the right approach, how we can do a good business and we can really promote the sustainability and promote the add-on value that we can give and how we can support the sustainability of a company.
I think I've got a small take on that. What my observation is that we as FM professionals are pretty good at what we do in our own ways. We've got our own strengths, be it technology or be it the knowledge of the environment that we are in. But two things that I picked from Goran's presentation was that I think if I was to sort of pick what we should be doing more, I would be fully supportive of what Goran said in his presentation, and that is we need to get more active. And I would add one more to that. Besides being more active, I think as FM professionals, we have to get more influential, to be more influential in the C-suite and to take on the leadership role and play that role right up to the boardroom level. And that's my take on what David and you were just talking about.
Absolutely agree, Val. Absolutely agree. And I mean, I think that in when we're talking here, I mean, more or less we have experience. We saw different cases. We saw different customers. But my experience showed that when I go in a company, it doesn't matter how big it is, this company, and how professional, how innovative it is. Usually, the facilities manager, it's very silent. It's very quiet.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that his responsibilities are really with a big impact on the organization, and somehow sitting silent will not give us the recognition, not even on the board, on the boardroom. I mean, our supervisions, which usually are either administrative director, either the financial director, they have different focuses. I mean, the financial director, he's looking to cut costs, and he is looking to optimize the financial flow of a company. Technical director, Jesus, I mean, this guy is looking on the equipment, the core equipment that is produced, for instance, which is who is producing the core products of the company. Why they should care about FM? But the company as a whole, the whole holistic approach of what we can deliver, it's something that it has to be addressed to the boardroom as one. Not looking to one of the board members and saying, this is our guy, I will go to talk to him and I will get more recognition. We have to talk to all of them in order to show what we can do for them.
Yeah. Is there any questions coming up on the screen there, David?
I don't have any right now, Val.
Just one more, just going back to one of your slides, Goran, where you said FM as a low-cost service. And I kind of, just looking at the examples that you were giving there, I fully agree with you. This is the perception. It's not just in your part of the world, but it's in this part of the world also. In Asia Pacific, we have the same issue. But to be fair, it is not just the companies coming out of China, which was an example that you had given. I'll give you an example where in very, very recently, I was asked to give a proposition or a fee proposal for a portfolio of properties. And I put together what I call a fair cost or fair value of FM to be provided as service delivery to that portfolio. And a week later, I had a call from the potential client to say that my price is way out of kilter. And I asked the question, how much out of kilter? Is it too much up or too much down? And he said, no, it's too much up. It's much above, And I said, okay. And believe it or not, because he was very curious and I was very curious, he basically shared with me the numbers that came out from the other tenders that he went to without giving me the names of the companies. But the names of the companies that were there were blue chip. What I was told that the prices that were put together there were by blue chip companies, mostly coming out of the US and Europe, which were almost half of what I had actually. And then he said, will you be doing for anything less than that? And I said, no, because I fully agree with you. It is this low-cost service is actually something that we have created ourselves.
Yeah.
And so this is where we got to come in and say, I'm not going to do this for this price.
Val, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's it's a common situation, and as you're saying, it's maybe all around the world. But something like 6-7 years ago, working in one of my previous companies, we were selling the products, and we saw that actually it was a KFM software for facilities management. And we saw that year by year we are selling this software not very successful. I mean, the sales are going down. And then we start analyzing where is the problem. So we saw, meanwhile there was cloud solutions and so on. And based on our research, we saw that actually people they're not looking for products anymore. They're looking for service. And then we start internally a research how other industries actually change from product to service. Because now I would say that every industry is migrating somehow from product to services. Even I would say even the automotive industry. I mean, it's not anymore to buy a car. You can use shared cars or stuff like that. Yeah. So we study a couple of examples, and okay, I will give you this example what we saw. It's exactly of a company in working in the automotive sector. And in a car, you have a lot of junctions, so you have a lot of screws to put there. For the car industry, this is a commodity. I mean, they just need these parts, and that's it. They have a very clear requirement, which is I know that and that size with this and this quality and this characteristics, and that's it. So all the companies that are supplying this will actually start eating themselves. I mean, by dropping down the prices, because this was not important for the car manufacturer. I mean, that's a screw. I mean, I don't how I can improve the quality of my car, but getting more better or whatever the screws inside. So one of the company, which actually were at the edge of their financial capabilities of serving this car manufacturer. One of those companies go there and they ask a meeting with a board, and they say, we are evidencing what is the problem. Yeah, this commodity is not important for you, but we cannot drop down the prices. I know that you want to drop down the price of your car, and this is one of the ways that you can see it's possible. So these guys are going to say, please allow us to be part of the design process in order to give you advices how to load the cost of all these junction and screws and so on. So not look at us only as a supplier of something, but allow us to get inside your core business, inside your design process, and then we can reveal our real value.
Takes us back to BIM, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Takes us back to BIM. Well, we've got about 45 minutes and a little bit more past. If there aren't further questions, oh, wait a minute, we do have a question here. Let's go a little bit further. Do you have any advice for service providers on how to position themselves in higher value service delivery model? This was the thing you just spoke of, Goran, right at the end.
Yeah.
The question is, do you have any advice for service providers on how to position themselves in higher value service delivery models?
The only main advice that I can say, study the core business of your end customers and adapt your services to their core business. I mean, when an end customer saw that somebody is caring about his business, somebody knows about his business, he starts sharing, and by starting sharing, it's much more easy to see where are the problems of this company are. So more easily for us to adapt our services and really to win by adequate offering and professional, I would cost structuring even, and then to win the. If I wouldn't recommend to go in this cost fight. I mean, you're giving quotation for 10, somebody is giving quotation for 8. So let's see, can we go down to 8? I mean, if your price is 10. I mean, 8 is already a 20% drop down. So either you are not good of doing your quotation, either you're putting a lot of surplus of your profit margin. So go there, study the core business of the organization, adapt your services to them, and they will see the add-on value.
Certainly reflect that as an FM consultant. And the person asking the question says, thank you. Well, yeah. I guess we've got to put a wrap on it now.
Yeah, so before we wrap this up, I think the takeaways for me from this session from Goran, very enlightening. My takeaways are like we got to sort of use technology as a very effective supportive tool. We are still a service industry. Some of us are not really keen to use technology, and we need to sort of figure out why. We got to be more active, and we should place ourselves as not as a low-cost service, but as a fair-cost, high-value service. And I generally found this whole session very, very enlightening. And thank you so much, Goran. I really appreciate the efforts you have put in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Val. Thank you for this.
I would say the same, and my takeaway is make sure my use of technology reflects the core business.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Well, let me move along here toward and just give an idea of where we're going. We are right here at the very beginning of the Europe and Oceania session. Excuse me, and we have 6 more to go, and a special on IT and FM tomorrow. So on our website, fmcc.fm.org, is a summary of the upcoming presentations and an opportunity to sign up. And thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it, the speakers and our audience. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
I'll stay on for a little while. Let's see, I'll stop recording. There we go.